All right, team. Let's go ahead and get kicked off here. I'm so excited for you today. This is going to be an amazing journey. Again, I want to give a shout out to all of our current customers and guests who are currently using Away, using Original Minerals, Simply Organic. Today we're going to be taking you, I'm going to be taking you on a journey, and I'm excited for this journey with you. I'm Jen Edwards. I am an education and instructional designer, and I happen to be a facilitator also in this beautiful hair and beauty industry. So let's go ahead and get started, right? So one of the things I find really, really interesting is how many of you have ever used a hair care line? Let's say if you're part of the family previous to joining on with the family here at Simply Organic, but you've ever been frustrated by a hair care. The product says it's going to do one thing and it winds up doing the complete opposite of what it is intended to do, right? So you get it and there's all these amazing marketing claims on the front of the bottle. You wind up using it and you're just like, crickets, really? It didn't do anything, right? I've had that experience myself. I used to say that, there's me, a little emoticon me, that if I drank all the smart water in the world, then maybe, just maybe someday, I'd end up looking like this amazing woman. But as you can see, not quite Jen Aniston, right? But with all kidding aside, fam, if you think about it, water takes up most of your product formulations. It can be anywhere from 60 to 95% of your product formulation. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen that TikTok where it talks about name something that lives rent-free. And you see some people showing pictures of their kids and some people are showing pictures of their dogs and their animals. Well, think about it. Water is living rent-free in your products until now. Not all water is created equal, my friends. There's a big difference between traditional hair care, green hair care, and then the MyVeg experience. Did you know that any time you take a shampoo or conditioner, look at the back of the bottle. Did you know that the first 5 ingredients are going to be what makes up most of your formulation? Now, out of those 5 ingredients, 1 is going to take up the most, water, right? So if it's taking up room, it better be doing something. Now, the difference, let's get traditional hair care out of the way, right? We don't care about those guys right now. But what if we were to take a look at some of our eco-friendly brands? There's still quite a big difference between traditional green hair care and MyVeg. If you look at most eco-friendly brands, they're going to be 60 to 70% distilled water, which is not active. I want you to remember that, right? 60 to 70%, even if it's distilled water, it's not active. Now, also with their eco-friendly brands, they can have 20 to 30% petroleum-based surfactants, which, as you're aware, surfactants are going to dehydrate the skin, they're going to cause sensitivity, they're going to irritate, and they can also trigger allergies. And I actually have a very interesting story about allergies a little bit later that I'll share with you. They're also going to have added colorants, synthetic fragrances, preservatives, plastic packaging. I don't know if you've seen the most recent study, just came out a couple days ago, but they unfortunately for the first time found plastic particles in the human body. We're absorbing these things. Now, don't even get me started on silicone and thickening agents, right? Thickening agents, typically in these shampoos, they're not just going to stick to the hair, but they're also going to stick to your scalp family. And that is where a lot of the problems really start, is when you have these thickening or these silicones sticking to the scalp. That can cause buildup. And then what happens is that clogs your hair follicles, or what we call the follicular funnel. Say that 5 times fast. And that's going to block the follicular funnel. And typically what happens with that is that leads to something called miniaturization, right? And we'll talk a bit more about that in just a little bit as we go down this hair journey together, all right? Now, welcome to MyVeg ceremony. I'm really excited for you. All my holistic hair mamas and hair papas out there, everybody that's coming in that's new. The reason why I'm so excited is because this is the first brand that has 100% organic plant active water. Now think about it. We just talked about traditional hair care and green hair care and how it's anywhere from 60 to 70% non-active. So what happens when you've got 100% organic plant water that is active? That's what we're about to explore. Very exciting. But not only that, with Ceremony, so the brand is MyVeg, the actual line is called Ceremony. Where it gets really exciting is because they're combining age-old herbalist traditions, right? Thinking about going back to those apothecary roots, that traditional Chinese medicine. You have the Ayurvedics, which is traditional plant medicine that goes back over 3,000 years. That really embodies what Ceremony is all about. I can tell you just with my time with MyVeg that they really do believe in the transformative power of plants, not only for your hair, but your scalp and your mind, really embodying those herbology roots and the holistic way of hair care, as I like to call it. Not only that, what's very exciting is balsamic time. Since for my new people out there that are dipping their toe in the holistic hair pond, right? What that means is think about it like this, balsamic time. Imagine taking a piece of fruit and you bite into that fruit and it's the sweetest piece of fruit you've ever eaten. And why is that? Because it was harvested at just the right time. That's what Ceremony does. The balsamic times, respecting the plants, everything from aluminum packaging and amber glass packaging, everything is about that holistic experience. As you can see here, and we'll go into more details, but it's 100% functional, 100% fresh for sure, 100% natural. And I love, and I want to just highlight here, friends, 100% sensory. All of the amazing ingredients. I don't know if any of you have seen that product break room where we talk about opening that jar and having a moment of wellness, which I think should definitely be trademarked. But that moment of wellness is because the scent is delicious. But what's even better is 100% natural. Not only that, we've got our 100% vegan. So now that you're getting to know what it is, let's also highlight what it is not. So it is silicone free. You've got your SLES free, SLS free. It's also gluten free. Now, I want to encourage those of you who are new to this side of the hair game, the holistic side. I want you to take some of these names. I wish I had all the time in the world today to go through each one. However, write some of them down. We're actually going to email this out to everyone that participated. Do your research. Understand why you want your products to be free of things like silicone or colorant or SLS free. And I say knowledge is power, but the application of knowledge as well. All right. So this is what I call, team, the intersection between old, ancient, traditional herbology roots, all my holistic friends out there, meets cutting edge scientific processes, right? So we talked about how the whole and the absolute oils, the essential oils, like the delicious scents that are there. I want to talk a bit more about why that is, because some of you are going, yeah, Jen, really? Are they using the ultrasound? Are they really doing all this? And yes, they are. So I'm not going to go into the full scientific breakdown, because if I'm being completely honest, some of those things, like when we start getting into inert gas and all of that, it's a little bit over my head, but there's a lot that I understood. and that I know and I've researched that to understand that this is really happening with the product. So first up is our whole and an absolute essential oil. So basically what they do, they don't use any solvents and they use what they call inert gas. So what this is basically doing is that it's pulling the oils from the plant full with the active, distinct functional ingredients. And that's how they're able to get those delicious natural scents by using that process. So they're extracted at room temperature and they use this scientific process that has to deal with inert gas, right? The second really cool thing is what they see here is the ultrasound assisted extraction. Now, what that's able to do is they use ultrasound on the plant cell walls, and that allows them to also pull out those active elements of the plant without harming the plant. So that's huge to make sure that we're honoring Mother Earth. The advantage, again, we're going to get that full phyto complex. For some of you that might be new out there, phyto refers to plant. So we're able to get that phyto complex or those phytotherapeutics 100% intact. Now, as we move on to our micronized botanical concentrates and our active organic plant water, both of these elements are pulled from a process called cold dehumidification, right? This is what really is one of the biggest distinctions between MyVeg Ceremony and the other eco-friendly green hair care brands out there. So what cold dehumidification means is that they're able to pull that water from the plant. The way that I could explain it best is imagine you've got a sponge and that sponge is a plant. And you take it and it's full of all these amazing, this plant water, all the active ingredients, like all of the goodness. And we've taken it at its right balsamic time and we squeeze that sponge and all of that good stuff we get to take, right? That's what cold dehumidification is. The other byproduct of that process is those micronized botanical concentrates, right? So what they do is they use to keep it from enzyme degradation, they make sure that everything's below 84 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's going to allow them to pull the phyto complex. So I know I've said a lot of big technical scientific stuff, but basically what I'm saying, team, is that through this process, we're able to get 100% plant active ingredients, functional ingredients, and 100% organic active plant water. And let's talk a bit more about ceremony. So here we go. Put your tray tables up. Make sure your seat is in its upright position because I'm your captain today and we're going to Italy. Just kidding. We're not going to Italy, but we're going to go through the experience together. All right. How many of you have clients out there that have persistent dandruff, right? Or maybe they have eczema. I don't know if you know this, but dandruff can cause hair loss. Now, it's not so much from the dandruff itself, but it's more so from the itching that unfortunately comes from the dandruff, right? So you can understand that, yes, dandruff is a huge nuisance, but if it goes unchecked, that you are going to potentially have some hair loss issues. So that's where Phytologia Funzionale, I'll be happy if you guys just call it the detoxifying clay scalp mask, comes into play. As you notice, that key active ingredient, that first ingredient, remember we said the first 5 are going to be your most important. So this sage water, which is the first ingredient for the clay scalp mask, 70% of your formulation. Look at everything that it does, team. It strengthens, it rejuvenates. It's going to help strengthen the hair. I don't know if you know this, but sage is a very, very powerful flavonoid, which is an extremely high antioxidant. This is really going to help to clean the scalp, purify. It's going to detoxify the scalp, remineralize, and it's going to help to create the proper hydrolipidic balance, which if hydrolipidic is that skin barrier. And if you're not careful with keeping your hydrolipidic balance, that's where things like bacteria and viruses on the scalp can really get in there. And imagine if the scalp's already irritated, what's going to happen if more, bacteria gets in there. This comes in a 500 ml and is for your back bar treatments, which we call rituals. So we'll get into our rituals in just a little bit, but I also want to highlight, team, that the detoxifying clay scalp mask is also going to enhance the efficacy of the hair baths we're about to talk about. So let's keep going. There we go. The bagno funzionale. So literally translated as functional hair baths, right? And we have 3. What's really great is that they're all color safe. As you know, they're all vegan. And I want to get into what I like to call the fried, dyed, and laid to the side, right? We all have those clients that maybe they're not taking care of their hair like they should have, or maybe you as a stylist, you've gotten a new client and, unfortunately the stylist before you really didn't treat their client with that TLC. So that's where the bagno funzionale Proteco, or the nourishing hair bath, is really going to come into play. Look at that first ingredient, rose flower water, right? So not only is it going to reduce oiliness, prevent dandruff, it's really going to help to smooth frizz, but rose water is packed full of vitamin B and C. Those 2 vitamins are crucial to the scalp and also helping with microcirculation and things of that nature. So again, they're doing all these amazing things for the hair, but they're getting into the scalp because that's where the hair comes from. That's one of the most important things that I want you to realize, is this is for the scalp and hair, each one of these products that we go through, right? So with that nourishing hair bath, it's also going to help retain healthy hydration levels for the hair, which when you have healthy hydration levels, what you're going to see in the hair is increased softness, elasticity. You're going to see that that shine increase. You'll also notice with the nourishing hair bath, that's what I used this morning. I'll pop back on camera in a second, but it's going to help to calm frizz, and it's going to make things a little bit more manageable and add that shine. So really, really exciting. One thing I want to point out, team, let me get back here on camera. Here, let's go ahead, and you've probably noticed that I've got 2 sizes here, but did you notice the nozzles? So this is our 500 ml right here. You got your pump nozzle. All right, now I want to highlight what your guest retail will take home. You see that nozzle? It's different, right? What does that remind you of? It's kind of like when you get a really nice clinical skin serum, and it's almost like a serum, right? Well, why is that? Why would they use a serum nozzle? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's because of the concentration of the 100% active ingredients along with the 100% organic plant water. So basically what they're showing you and we're telling you is that a little is going to go an awful long way with all of these products. So that's the main difference that you're going to see between your 500 ml and then what your guest takes home, your 200 ml, right? So exciting stuff there. All right, next up, we've got drum roll, bagno funzionale purificante. So this is your detoxifying hair bath. Again, look at that first ingredient. Salvia officinalis leaf water, right? So it's going to 70% of your formulation. It's active. It's going to boost the circulation. The other thing that you'll notice with the detoxifying hair bath is that it's going to help to regulate oil production. And it's also, as you know, it's going to help promote that healthy scalp. It has high, I cannot exaggerate enough, antioxidant levels. And that's going to come from, my friends, the Salvia officinalis leaf water. That's why you're going to get that color safe. We put that through the ringer when we test all of our products. We literally did our product head of product development is a redhead, and she had just gotten her grays freshened up. She'll probably kill me for saying that, but we made her the very next day. Actually, I think we waited 2 days. We made her use that, and it is, I can guarantee you it is color safe. So the detoxifying hair bath is a wonderful, wonderful hair bath to use with the Phyto Funzionale, which is that detoxifying clay scalp mask. If you really have some concerns with your guest about the health of their scalp, those two are going to do the job, but they're not going to be overbearing, again, because we're not that natural 100% ingredient. So those two together, definitely super, super impactful. Let's take a look here. We've got a client. Now, the difference between this and the first client we showed you is, you notice that redness? You know, the scalp's really inflamed here. So you've got the dandruff, you got that scalp inflammation. This is where the bagno funzionale riequilibrante, or again, I'll be happy if you just say balancing hair bath. That's going to come in and that's going to soothe. And that's because of that rosemary water. That's also going to help blood circulation, that promotion of hair growth. The other soothing active ingredient is you're going to get that mentha piperita water. The smell is delicious, friends. I just wish technology was at the point where I could literally just open the cap and have you smell it through the laptop. But unfortunately, you're just going to have to try it on your own. I can't do that for you. But some of the other fun things are impactful things that it's going to do. It's going to enhance that hair softness and shine. Again, it's color safe. You're going to notice it's going to reduce that itching and inflammation. We actually have a team member, and let me come on camera here because I feel like I don't want to alienate anybody out there. But we have a team member, her name is Tina, and Tina has been a hairstylist for over 34 years. And she was actually a director from one of the leading holistic brands out there many moons ago. And unfortunately, due to her allergies, that ended her time behind the chair early. She would break out in just awful blisters on her hands, and it was really unfortunate, right? So she wanted to try some of the products from the MyVeg ceremony line, and it was actually the balancing hair bath is what she tried, and she absolutely loved it. And one of the things I love about Tina is Tina doesn't mix words. She's loving about it, but she's going to tell you what she thinks, and I appreciate that. And she told us what she thought of the product, and not only did it not cause any activation of her allergies, her hair was looking flawless, right? Looking flawless like her dreams. So I really appreciated her feedback as well on that. So balancing hair bath or the bagno funzionale, a riequilibrante, is a must as well. All right, moving along, team. So imagine this is the scalp, and you see in the left-hand corner, what does that say? DHT. Was anybody know what that stands for? Give you a second. Anybody want to put in the chat what that stands for? It stands for dihydrotestosterone. And you're like, well, what'd you call me? Well, dihydrotestosterone, what that is when you have testosterone in the body and it meets another chemical in the body called alpha-5 reductase. Those two are a toxic couple together, right? What they do is they attack the hair follicle or the follicular funnel, and they can cause miniaturization, which is what you don't want. And that's where one of my favorite products comes into play, the Panacea L'Herbe, which is known as the Nourishing Phyto hair mask, right? Again, look at that first key ingredient. That's nettle. And nettle is known for its microstimulation and stimulating the scalp, and also what that helps to do as well. It's almost like a natural version of a DHT blocker. It is just amazing. Now, remember, because it's 100% organic active water, keyword active, that's 70% of your formulation. So 70% of this product is nettle. So not only is it amazing for the scalp, this is that nourishing hair mask. It literally, when we read on the product that it said melt in texture, I was like, okay, let's see about this, right? This is some great marketing. Well, it really does melt into the hair. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite product, and it's my favorite product because we've got that amazing scent. It helps to stimulate the hair follicle, which is super important, but it's also got macadamia. It's got, if I remember correctly, yep, it's got argan, it's got jojoba oils, and those are going to hydrate and soften the hair. And those are going to help in the prevention. They're not the cure for split ends, because the only thing that cures split ends is cutting them, but they're going to help in the prevention of split ends, right? Again, color safe, vegan. I will tell you that this mask, because it is so nourishing, you know, obviously mid to ends, if you are going to use it for the scalp stimulating properties, just let your finer hair guests know that you might have just a teeny bit of weight to the hair because their hair is finer. You're really getting the benefits if you're using on the scalp. It's for the microcirculation of it, really. So the Panacea Larvae, one of my favorites. It's actually a huge pick here at the corporate office in St. Pete. Love this product, right? And this is just my video of what Panacea Larvae does when it hits the hair strand, right? It's just going to get in there. It's going to straighten it from the inside out and everybody's happy. All right. Next up is our Resina Modellante. So that's that soft texturizing paste, and I love it. Okay. I still got my Panacea Larvae, but I do love the Resina Modellante. If you happen to watch that product break room, we put that little thought bubble up there. I was like, I really could have used some of the soft texturizing paste that day. It is amazing. So again, that first ingredient, that citrus, will just peel water. Smells delicious, but it also has so many antioxidants in it. This is really about creating texture for your guests. So texture, movement, definition. What I love about it is sometimes those texturizing pastes can get a little heavy. This one it's not greasy. So again, we use that melt-in texture. It really does melt into the hair, because it's not just a styling product. When you're using these products, it's like you're getting many ritual treatments in the hair as well. Color safe. This is great for reducing or eliminating like frizz or static. So if you got those second and third day hairdos and you really just need to calm the hair down a bit, Resina Modellante is going to be great for you. I do recommend, with the soft texturizing paste, this one, use it more for your finer hair clients, because up next, we got the Resina Strutturante, right? And that's that strong texturizing paste. They're both 50 mils, smaller, but it doesn't matter the size because of how active the ingredients are, right? Like you take a look at that first ingredients, that leaf water, what that's going to do is it's going to add shine, condition the hair, but you're also going to improve the hair's structural integrity, which is really, really cool. Again, it's for the most part, the Strutturante, if you're using it on your more textured clients, you're going to notice more of a weightless nourishment on this one. Going to definitely protect the hair, and it's color safe. And I just like to throw in that it's also vegan. This is actually the Resina Strutturante along with the Modellante, so the strong and soft texturizing paste. Those two together are Stephanie's top two picks. She loves using those together for bridal updos, creating that nice texture in the hair. Steph has been a stylist for over 25 years. So these are her two top picks from the line. And then there was Lympha Modellante. This is the styling protection lotion. Now I want to come on the camera here. I want to show you a few things. So the Lympha Modellante, it is so impactful. A little goes a long way. So basically this is going to be like your thermal protectant. It's going to protect UV stress. It's definitely will give you some soft definition with curls and some of those textured styles. If you want to smooth, like let's say you ran out of the Resina Modellante or Strutturante and you needed to smooth down second and third day hair or eliminate frizz, Lympha Modellante will definitely do that. It's definitely going to help with manageability. So let's go ahead. I want to point out something on camera for you, team. Well, hello. All right, here we go. Lympha Modellante. Now, due to translation, when you look at your instructions, it's going to say hair sculpting fluid. It's more like a lotion here. There we go. So a little goes a long way. I did 2 pumps. gonna emulsify here. And what I love, obviously the citrus scent, but it's not sticky. It's just, since I've been here in Florida, frizz has been an enemy, definitely. But it's gonna help to eliminate that frizz. Smells delicious. It's that UV protectant. Again, it little goes a long way, like 2 pumps. Oh my gosh, that's really all you need as far as the product. Let's go ahead and keep moving to, there we go, the Elixir Sublime. So the Sublime Hydrating Elixir. This is really, I like this to also freshen up second and third day hairdos. I know you're hearing me say that a lot, but these 3 products, these 3 styling products are just so phenomenal for that. The Elixir Sublime is really excellent if you want to, like, say, hydrate and detangle the hair. Performs really well as a detangler. It's going to add shine. It'll hydrate the hair a bit, and it helps to purify. If you look at that acetum on there, that's also going to balance the pH. So the Sublime Hydrating Elixir it's full of antioxidants, team, and it love. That'll also help to seal the cuticle and lock in that shine. So that's definitely a nice little spray to have. And then there was the Rugiada Fisitiva. So internally here at the corporate office, we call it the Rugiada Fisitiva. Now I know it's a styling hairspray, right? I want to manage your expectations, because traditionally when you think of hairsprays, you're thinking of something that's got quite a bit of hold, right? The Rugiada is more like a texturizing spray that had a baby with a hairspray. It's going to give you progressive. You have to use it and layer it to get that progressive hold. But if, again, you look at that active organic horsetail water, what I love about it is not only you're getting hold, but you're also going to get something, amino acids going internally into the hair. So like a mini ritual treatment, even though it's a styling spray, right? This happens to be Marianne's pick of the line that she absolutely loves. Marianne's been with us for quite a few years, and she's been a hairstylist, I think, for over 30 now. And this happens to be her favorite pick of the line. And then there was Tonico Vitale, team. So Tonico Vitale, I absolutely love it. This is my second favorite product. I don't know if you remember my first one. I'll give you the hint again, the Panacea L'Herbe, but the Tonico Vitale is my second favorite. This is like your volumizer within the line, within the ceremony line. What I love about it is it has nettle. 70% is going to be nettle. Nettle is going to help with microcirculation. As I push 41, my biggest concerns happen to be my front recession. And I've noticed, I've been using it for a while. I'm starting to notice little baby hairs coming in, little vellus hairs coming in. This is wonderful. It gives you that volume. It gives you that body. You spray it onto the hair. I like to do, you can definitely do it root through the ends. It'll give you a beautiful, beautiful blowout. For all my holistic blow drying mamas out there, I'm going to give you a combination like you're going to love. So while the hair is damp, use the Tonico Vitale. It's going to give you that volume. Next, you're going to protect the hair before you do your blowout, and that's going to be the Resina Modellante. You're going to do a light spray of the Rugiada, or the Rugiada as we call it. And then you're going to go in and do your blowout, and then you're going to finish it out with the Rugiada Fisitiva to give a bit more hold. So those 3 together are super impactful if you want to deliver some of those beautiful, beautiful blowouts, right? Happen to be my favorite. Okay. Moving on. So friends, we've gone through some of the products, almost all the products from the line. Now, Ceremonies has 5 rituals. And for the sake of time, I'm going to highlight one of the rituals for you. All 5 of the rituals are in detail through our online education that you can see the breakdown of each one and how to use it, and beautiful before and afters within each ritual. But before we do that, I want to point out the acqua termale. This is the MyVeg thermal water. So it's sourced from the aquifer at Mount Baldo. I definitely have to let you know that it's certified by the Italian Ministry of Health. But what I really love is that they literally bottle it there. There's no preservatives. It has literally 11 different uses. I like to use it as a facial toner. It works magic. Now, for all my family out there that's been with the brand for a while, what does number 3 say? Use to activate the air tintore color, right? Guess what, fam? We're launching a color line coming this fall. Education is coming. Now, I hopefully I didn't get in trouble by telling you that, but I wanted to let you know that we've got some big, big things on the horizon. And MyVeg has a color line and it's coming to you this fall. So I want you to stay tuned for those emails because we're going to be letting you know more about it as we get closer to fall, right? But the aqua tamale is used in several of the MyVeg ceremony rituals. It's absolutely just wonderful. You can use it for a multitude of things. Now, some of the other products that are used in the MyVeg ceremony rituals are going to be our synergias. Now, really what these do is they're customizing the experience for the guest. Each one, as you can see, Synergia 1, 2, and 3 has its own aromatherapy or aromatherapeutic effect. Now, the rituals will state which one you should use. I'm a rebel. I think you should let your guests decide which one you can use, and that's completely fine. So you can go with what our education says, or if you want to customize it, truly customize it for your guest, go ahead and have them pick their favorite scent. It's really going to make the salon smell fantastic. So these essential oils are non-toxic, they're 100% natural, and we use that, remember that ultrasound technology to extract these. So those are the synergias. All right. Now, we're going to shift gears, team. So here we are, we're cruising at 30,000 feet and we're coming over, unfortunately, the city of hair loss. Did you know that 1 out of 4 of your guests is suffering from hair loss? Statistically, like 25% of women, 1 out of every 4 suffers from hair loss, right? Unfortunately, those numbers are just increasing. But the reason why I'm highlighting this for you is obviously with the ceremony, we have that anti-hair loss ritual. Stay with me here. The clinical results on this 3-month study were absolutely phenomenal. They did a study and 90%, 90, of the participants in this study saw an increase in the anagen phase of hair, which for all you out there, as you know, that is the growth phase of the hair stage. And the client's perception of daily fall was greatly diminished. So again, we've got all this, we have these herbology roots meeting cutting edge science, and we've got the clinical results from it. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up, think about this. I want you to start thinking like, all right, we've gone through product knowledge, but what does it mean for me if I bring this, or when I bring this into the salon? What does that mean for my team? Or maybe you're a salon suite owner. 1 out of every 4 of your guests suffer from thin, fine hair. So let's just say on average, let me break down the math for you here. And I want you, this is going to hopefully get you excited. You've got let's say on average, 250 clients, right? 25%, it's 62.5. We don't make half humans. We're going to say 62, right? Now I know that I have the cost of my service. So hopefully out there, you know what you charge for your hourly rate. So if I charge, let's say $40 for my hourly rate, and I know that each one of the ceremony rituals is 30 minutes, team. So 30 minutes to complete these rituals. So if I take that cost of my product and I've marked it up, and then I take my hourly rate and have it, that's where we get $35. Here's where it gets exciting. Service dollars alone, $21.70. Now, even if say you're an independent, that's amazing. or could get even more excited, some all my salon owners out there where you have 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth, technicians generating this type of income for you. Now, with all of the rituals, you have your service products that you've used for your back bar. But then, as you know, we need that guest to lead with retail, right? It's even more exciting because take a look at this. I got 62 clients. And if they've done this ritual, the anti-hair loss ritual, then they have to take, and I mean have to take home the Bagno Funzionale Equilibrante, the balancing hair bath, the Tonico Vitale, and the Panacea L'Herbe, right? And I've got 62 clients. I've already done the math for you here at the 67. So that's your cut. That's what you're taking home for each one of these guests. The guest would pay 134. You're taking home 50% of that. That's 67. Here's where it gets more exciting. 4,154 retail dollars. Think about that. Whether you're an independent or you're a salon owner, if you had each one of your stylists generating that type of income, wow, that is money, right? Now, what does it look like to successfully onboard a brand? What goes into that? So we've talked about why MyVeg's different. So we've talked about all the science, we've talked about the herbology, we've talked about what it is, what it isn't, and we've talked about why it performs. So what happens next? When you're trying to bring on a brand into the salon, how do you successfully do that? And believe it or not, it's mindset. Now hear me out on this, right? So the top indicator, it's going to be your mindset. I can give you, team, all of the repeatable systems and programs, which I'll start to give you some in a bit. But if you don't do a check-in with yourself, and if you don't do a check-in with your team, you're doing yourself a disservice. And this is why. Cognitive psychologist Robert French, all right, demonstrated that a mindset is essential for us to navigate life, right? So this is how we use our mind to navigate life and get a sense of things, right? So what happens is the mind, instead of approaching like each life situation new, that takes way too much time and energy for the brain, believe it or not, just too much. So what happens is what our mindset does is it functions as a set of templates. And these templates help us to decide how to feel, how to respond. And guess what? For the most part, it's completely unconscious, right? So let's break it down what that means in the salon. So you like my girl here in the yellow, she's very frustrated. So let's say our fellow stylist here in the yellow shirt, she's curt, she's short with you one morning, she's coming into the salon and you say, "Good morning, Stephanie." And she's like, "Morning." Well, what are some of the things that might naturally go through your mind? You might think that something that you did, make an assumption that like, "Oh my God, what did I do?" Right? I think we've all done that from time to time. Well, what really is happening, there's a knowledge gap. And what happens is the mindset, so your mind tries to bridge that gap. It tries to bridge the gap between why Stephanie is being curt with you. And what it does, and what happened is you really just lack the knowledge that Stephanie didn't sleep well the night before, and she's got some family issues that are happening, and your mind jumped the gap. And then you blamed yourself for the reason for their curtness. Now, we can take it a little bit deeper. Mindset pioneer Carol Dweck said that the brain can be programmed with either a fixed, what you see here, and look at that feedback, look at that. I stick to what I know, my abilities are unchanging, my potential is predetermined, I don't like to be challenged, right? A fixed mindset is more primal and it's resistant to change, all right? Even, listen to this, even if new experiences prove you wrong. Stubborn, right? Party of one, stubborn. You're less likely to take up new hobbies, you're less likely to take chances, and you're less likely to believe in your own ability to perform in better aspects of your life. Interesting, right? Now, let's look at the flip side of it. Let's look at a growth mindset. Growth mindset is going to be more open. It's going to be fluid and open to change. Instead of getting defensive, people who have a growth mindset, instead of getting defensive, they get curious. They're less likely to define themselves, and you're more likely to embrace challenges, right? Look at it this way. Fear can either be a failure expected and received, or it could be face everything and rise. And you, my friends, get to decide which one you want to be. How does this relate to the salon? I'm sure we've all heard this, right? I'm an artist. I'm a creative. Yes, you are. But you also have to understand that educating is selling, right? So that statement, when you say, I'm an artist, I'm not into selling, whenever you're saying that to yourself, you're reinforcing a false belief system. And what's happening is that false belief system is going to give you an easy excuse to avoid selling, right? Now, in the short term, that's going to prevent you from failing because you didn't try. And if you don't try something, you can't fail at it, right? And over the long run, however, you are going to hinder your ability to learn, family, grow, and definitely develop new skill sets. So let's do a check-in. How are you talking to yourself? I think we can all agree that words have pretty big impact. Words can help manifest realities. So what do you believe about yourself? What you say is what you bring into form, professionally and most definitely personally. Energy is currency. Ask yourself, how are you spending your energy? What are you focusing on? Where you focus is where you're going to go. And I'll tell you this, I'll sum it up for you, team. If you don't believe that energy exists, how many of you have ever had an experience where you have a person enters the room and they light it up, or you can have a person leaving the room and it lights up? You tracking with what I'm saying? So instead of being impossible, I want you to always remember that you are possible. And I hope some of you, you may or may not need to hear this, but I want each and every one of you to know that you are possible. I'm going to give you my 4 top tips to shifting yourself into a new mindset that I guarantee you, and I said the word guarantee, is going to give you new results. The first one, embrace challenges, friends. This is where your magic happens. Shift. When things happen to you, it's hard to have this mindset, but I want you to try going, instead of why is this happening to me? What is this trying to show me? Because there's always a lesson. 2, reflect. I personally like to call it pausing. I want you to take the time. I want you to acknowledge, reflect, and embrace all of your failures, and also embrace all of your accomplishments. Success and failure both leave clues. I want to come on camera and I want to share something with you that really helped to change my life and helping with my mindset. This was something for me that happened during COVID, and it was a book that I picked up, and the changes from reading this little book were huge. It's such a very impactful read. Let me share it with you. This is Jen's book club. You're welcome. The Art of Contemplation. Very, very short read. And if you don't mind, I'd like to share something with you that really was impactful with my life. I'll do it real quick. Whatever stage of life you are currently moving through, whether you are resting in a quiet eddy in the river, or whether you feel immersed or even overwhelmed by the rushing cascade of life, this little book offers you a lifeline. As you imbibe this simple yet timeless teaching that lies inside, your life will gradually begin to evolve. At first, it may hurt a little as you come to see with crystal clarity that it is you who have stood for so long in your own way. But soon, as you follow the threads of understanding that dawn in you, and as you begin to apply them to your life, many difficulties will drop away and you will find yourself living in a new way and inhabiting a new world. How cool is that? What an amazing read. And I can tell you for all my, I want to speak to my salon owners right now. If you're looking for a way to connect with your team, if you're looking for a way to switch to a mindset, a growth mindset, maybe you've got some team members that you got to do a check-in with. Well, make it a team building activity. Grab the book, read a chapter a week, and discuss it once a week. This is an awesome team building exercise book. It's not a whole lot. It's right there. I highly, highly recommend the book. It's called The Art of Contemplation. And then my fourth tip for developing a growth mindset, which is crucial to the retail strategies we're going to talk about, is the yet, right? The yet gets overlooked, right? What does that mean? Yet. Well, yet is the reminder that the best things and the best days are yet to come, right? We've gone through the science and power, like of how mindset affects how we talk to ourselves. It affects us personally and professionally. Integrating this little word in your vocabulary is always, 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 team, a reminder that your best days are always going to be ahead of you. So it means that no matter the struggle that you're having in the salon, any of that, you can overcome it because you have yet to overcome it, which you can, right? Mindset, team is a trainable dynamic. If you practice it, practice, and habits, you can train yourself to be a better growth mindset believer. All right. Now, like, how does this impact the salon? Well, I've given you a few examples, right? But as we go into our retail segment, we've got a better mindset. We're in a growth mindset now, right? I want you to think back to the first time you either cut or you colored hair. First time. Can you think back? You got the memory? Good. Whenever you hit a minor setback when you first started cutting or coloring hair, I'm pretty sure you didn't throw up your shears or your color bowl and hung up your apron and called it a day and quit. Now, you might have thought about it, but you didn't, right? And that's because you want to view failure and setback as an indication, as a stepping stone to progress. And that's the same with retail. How are you selling retail in the salon? There's 3 easy steps. These 3 steps I'm going to share with you that I guarantee you, if you start implementing them, either yourself and with your team, they're going to help you increase your retail. The first thing is the foundation. It's your story, right? It's scientifically proven that our brains respond extremely well to stories. So what's your story? Do you have it? How are you going to incorporate MyVeg into the salon experience? Start there, right? So what's the story? Find your hero product, right? So as you're thinking to yourself, is your story behind the chair, what's your favorite product? I told you mine. I told you 2, actually. You remember them? It's a Panacea L'Herbe, and it is the Tonico Vitale. I've already given you the ideal customer to educate. Remember, 1 out of every 4 of your guests, so 25% of your clientele, is suffering from some form of hair loss. They have a challenge, you have a solution, right? Now you got to practice telling the story. You got to find ways that you can naturally just work it into the conversation with your guest. If you're telling the story behind each of your products, what's going to happen is that's going to make it more of a memorable experience. That's going to help set you apart. Also, if you share other memorable experiences from other guests, and you let your guests know that it's worked for others, that's also an impactful piece to your story. When you find your story, team, you're going to find your voice. I guarantee it. Your voice has meaning. Now, the second is what I like to call PIN: problem, implication, and need. The first thing is the problem. You got to investigate it. Now, for all my stylists out there, you've been behind the chair for years. You're going to know your guests pretty well. However, it never hurts to do a check-in. It never hurts to reconsult with that guest. And some of you are doing it every time your guest comes in. That's amazing, right? So that means you're really well aware of the problems and challenges that your guest has, right? Discovery questions. The second is, once you have the problem, once you know the challenges that your guest has or they're experiencing, it's the implication. So this is where you take products and you give them a solution, and that's the products that you're using. And that's you explaining, as you're using the products with your guest, how they're solving the challenges that they're having, all right? So throughout your time with your guests, hopefully as you're taking them through the process, you're educating them, or selling, which is educating. You're telling them about the product features, you're telling them about the benefits, but also you're helping your guests realize that you're providing a solution. Here's the rub, team. People don't want the cure until they know they're sick. You have to, what I call, drive the pain. Your guest has to know, hey, I've got challenges with this, and then you have the cure. And number 3 is need. This is where you focus on closing the deal, everybody, right? So that leads us to vanilla or chocolate. So is it vanilla or chocolate, everybody? Which one do you prefer? Pick one. Probably about 90% of you picked one or the other. Or maybe some of you picked both, and that's Neapolitan. But I didn't ask you if you wanted ice cream. I simply said vanilla or chocolate. So before you get to the front desk and before your guest takes that smock off, because as soon as that smock comes off, there's a whole different mindset. Your guest is ready to get out of the salon. Tell them to grab their phone and tell them to take a quick video of you explaining each of the 3 products. Keyword, 3 products. Keep it brief, 30 to 45 seconds max. So when you do get to the front desk, what happens is, instead of you going, would you like to take home any of these products? Never ask a question you're not sure what the answer is going to be. Open-ended questions, vanilla or chocolate. Always give your guest 2 options, right? Always 2 options when it comes to retail. Anything more just becomes far too complicated. Create the problem, show them the solution, and give them the vanilla or chocolate option. Now, 76. Some of you are going, what does that number represent, team, right? So what does that mean? 76. Well, did you know that each time before a pilot gets in the cockpit, or he's in the cockpit and he takes off, he or she's got a checklist of 76 things that they have to do that's going to get you from point A to point B, and hopefully keeps your airliner from becoming an ocean liner, right? I used to have an awful fear of flying. And I would sometimes, you know how like you're in the car and somebody needs to brake and you're pushing your foot down? You should have seen me during turbulence on a plane. It was like I was trying to fly the plane. However, 76 things that pilot needs to do. So I want you to ask yourself, what's your checklist? What are you doing in the salon when you're bringing in, or you're trying to educate your team? Do you have systems and processes in place? Take a look. So with our checklist, if you plan or you fail to plan, you're going to plan on failing, team. But I've got a resource for you. All right. So here we go. Free education membership. Is it too good to be true? No, it is free. For all of you out there that are new to holistic wellness and hair, welcome to Simply Organic. To everybody that I've had the pleasure of meeting so far, or I should say virtually meeting, we're adding new education. I want you to get excited. We're getting back into the education game. For all of you who have your phone with you and you're not viewing this on your phone, take out your phone. I want you to scan that QR code that's right there in the corner. That's going to take you directly to where you need to go. Put your information in. All you see, there's your first, your last, your email, your phone number. I promise you, we are not going to try to sell you a car warranty. This is to give you access to our learning management system for the free education. This is where we'll be uploading all new education, and it's where all existing education is. So another number, right? You're like, geez, Jen, all these numbers. Well, that one's in red. And the reason why it's in red is that 60% of retail and add-on service opportunities are lost at the front desk. Your front desk team is going to interact with each of your guests a minimum of 4 times for every 1 time that your stylists do. That's your director of first impressions team. And this is where I get really excited for you, because as we're talking about education coming soon, we're going to have a front desk training. How exciting is that? A front desk training to make sure that you can recuperate those 60% of retail and add-on services that might be lost for you. And some of you may not be 60%. You have a fabulous front desk team, but I believe, what's the biggest room in the salon? Some of you might be going the color room or the cutting floor. It's the room for improvement. What if we could just increase your business 10%? The front desk, that's huge. So stay tuned, because we're going to be doing these front desk trainings coming soon, and we'll let you know as that starts to roll out. All right, so here we are. As your captain, I've gotten you safely through the MyVeg experience. And what does this look like for you? For all of my, my OWAY family and my O&M and my Simply Organic out there, MyVeg ceremony is not meant to replace any of the lines you're currently carrying. It's eco luxury. It's a smaller line. As you know, it's boutique. It's centered in those old herbology, but there is a key distinct difference. And it's that 100% active organic water that's in the formulations, and it's that 100% active ingredients, right? So this is the perfect add-on. It's, you've got your Principale package, as we like to call it. So this is going to be your bigger package, and that's going to be your 1s and 6s, but also what you're going to get in the package is support items. So in the lower left-hand corner, it's called the Kadansu. That's your presentation for the products. You're going to get your MyVeg aprons. All of our packages include online education, which you'll have access to. You have in your right-hand corner, you're going to have I call it the ceremony Bible. That's going to be like your ins and outs of the brand. If you thought I talked about a lot today, oh man, there's so much more. You have no idea. And that's what's really cool about that ceremony book on the far right-hand corner, is it has even more details in it, right? That little green book, we call it the little green book. It's called the compendium, but that's for your guest. So you'll have that gives the ins and outs. It talks about the brand. That's for your guests. And that if you're sitting in the reception area and you want them to read something about how amazing this product is. And then next you've got your rituals and protocols. So this is the written version of, it's a smaller written version of the online education. So if you're like me, you're visual, I love the online education or learning live. This is the written word of that, right? The value is $2505.95. Your investment. So for under $2,000, you can bring in this line, that you've seen the differences between what's currently being offered, and you can use it as add-on in the salon. So that's the Principale. Now, you better believe I'm not going to give you just one option, because I just got done preaching to you about vanilla or chocolate, right? So we've got the Minori. So the Minori, instead of the Principale, this option has 1 and 3s, and then 3s of your styling. And then you've got your aromatherapy options. It's going to give you everything you need in the line to get started. Now, the Minori is going to look like for you is, again, all online education. You're going to get the manuals, you're going to get the aprons, the boxes for the MyVeg for your take home for your guests. Value $15.70.95. Your investment is $13.35.95. And then I threw in an extra one. Maybe you want to, you want to dip your toe into the holistic hair pond and you're new to the brand, or maybe you're offering away and you've got original mineral or simply organic, but you want to try it out. And I understand that and I honor that. So that's the Independente, right? That is the Try Me package. So that's going to give you ones of all of the products. So you're going to get your everything that has your 500 mil, which is considered your back bar, and then your 200 mil, which is your retail options, right? That's the Independente. And what you're going to love about it is that it's valued at $99.95, but your investment take home is going to be $890.95, right? So those are your 3 options: the Principale, the Minori, and the Independente. So take your phone out. Maybe you didn't put it away. You've got it right there next to you. This is the QR code that's going to allow you to go to shop.simplyorganicbeauty.com to view the products additionally. And if you would like to make that investment in yourself and in your team and provide another option, because remember, it's about options for your guest, this is going to help you to do that. So any of you that buy into the Principale, so the first package, you also get another private training session. We're doing that for up to 25 of the packages. So you'll get an additional private training session with you and your team. And that is part of the Principale package. So team, I've gotten you to your destination. We've arrived. You've taken the MyVeg experience. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's been exciting. I hope that you learned something new, whether you've been a seasoned professional of the brand, which again, thank you, by the way, or you're new to the Simply Organic family, or maybe you're contemplating joining. I think you should join. And I think you've seen from some of the other stylists who were raving about us to join the brand. Definitely, it means one thing when I say it, but it means everything when your fellow stylist says it. So I want to thank you, everyone, for attending today.